Hi everybody, my name is Taylor. I'm the owner of Elor Event Planning. It's a Buffalo-based wedding planning company, and I'm so happy you're here with me today to talk a little bit about how to cut your guest list. I know it's a really sucky situation with COVID and having to cut your guest list down a lot, but I have some tips that will hopefully make it easier. And if you need help with anything else in the future with your wedding, feel free to hit subscribe so you can catch all my other videos, or feel free to email me and reach out. I'd love to talk with you. So I think the number one step for cutting your guest list down is to know what you need to cut your guest list down to. Know a firm number as much as possible. I know a lot of couples have had troubles with venues giving them different answers or not having consistent information, but feel free to call and find out the information that you need to know, whether that's your venue or the government authorities, and I'll put some of the phone numbers down in the description. But try and find out as best you can the firm number that you need to get to. Once you know exactly the number that you need to get to, I suggest that you start by making an immediate family list, both yours and your fiance's. Write it down, see what you're at. From there, if you have more slots, so to say, make a 50-person list and a 100-person list. This gives you flexibility, especially if your wedding is a little bit far out. If there is an increase in capacity, that you'll know exactly who gets added at that point. Now, I know what you're thinking, like, how do I cut it down to 50 people? How do I cut it down to 100 people? Well, the easy place to start is take out any last minute additions. Anyone you forgot to do, anyone who your mom had to call you and be like, oh, we're adding this person, anyone who you had to really think about to remember. Cut them first. Other good candidates for cutting are work friends, friends of parents, extended cousins, friends' children, old school pals, and any obligatory invites. So that's like 6 categories that might help you cut down your list a little bit. From there, you're going to want to look at any individuals that you know are high risk. Definitely give them the option and kind of guilt-free way of backing out of the wedding. It might relieve a lot of pressure for them, and it'll also help minimize your guest count and protect those who are high risk that are in your must-haves, because the fewer number of people that you have at your wedding, the better it's going to be for the high risk individuals. If you're able to or comfortable with, you can talk to your grandparents about not coming. A really nice way to still incorporate them is to go visit them in your wedding attire beforehand, or if you want to send them a bouquet or a corsage, it can make them still feel incorporated while keeping them very safe. Another opportunity for cutting are any of your international guests. This might kind of be done for you. A lot of countries are having travel restrictions, so definitely talk to your friends who are coming from and relatives who are coming from out of the country and see if they're even able to come in the first place. So once you've kind of trimmed your guest list down and decided where you are, take a deep breath and relax, because that was probably the hardest part, and it's really weird to be talking about how to uninvite people to your wedding, especially it's such a mass amount. So give yourself a little bit of grace and patience, and know that a lot of couples are being forced to do this because of COVID, and it's an extenuating circumstance. From there, we're going to talk a little bit about how to uninvite guests to your wedding. First of all, approach it from the mental state that it's not your fault, and try not to be super guilty about it. It's, like I said, crazy circumstance, and just take it one step at a time, and know that a lot of your guests might feel relieved and really support your decision to make this choice. You can always ground the information that you're telling people in the fact that you really want to have a large celebration with everyone once it's safe. That can make people still feel like they're important and you want them at your celebration, but now it's just not a good time. but not like that, because that feels like a cheesy breakup. Keep in mind with this, anytime that you can personally contact your invitees, that's going to be better. If you don't have a way to contact them that's personal, or there's a lot of people or you're overwhelmed, that's okay. But if you are able to touch base with people personally, that's really great. Another way to keep people included is to say to them, we'd really like you to attend our wedding over Zoom as well. This again keeps people feeling like they are important and you want them to be included, but doing it in a super safe manner. Lastly, a little caveat: if you haven't sent out save the dates or invites to people, you don't necessarily have to contact them personally and say that you're not able to have them come to the wedding anymore. So I hope this helped a little bit. I know it's a super stressful conversation and a really hard thing to do, and on top of all of the hard things that you've had to do if you're planning your wedding in COVID. If you have any extra tips or if this helped, please drop it in the comments. I'd love to see you guys again, so hit subscribe, and best of luck with your wedding planning, especially if you're planning during COVID. My heart goes out to you. If you need any help or have any questions, feel free to email me or DM me. I'm happy to help you guys. So have a good day. Bye.